what's up, everybody? This is an artist spotlight, man. This is an artist spotlight featuring Jason Bonham. Of course, son of legendary John Bonham, Led Zeppelin's drummer. Always been intrigued with Jason to know more about him, checking out his skills a little bit further than just the O2 concert that I saw him play. I also saw him with Heart when they were doing a Stairway to Heaven rendition, and they were honoring Led Zeppelin. I believe it was the Kennedy Center honors. So that's as much exposure to Jason Bonham as I've had. So he still remains somewhat of a bit of a mystery to me, so I'd like to get to know him a little further. So I appreciate this man, Brian Simpson. Thanks very much, man. Thanks for hearing the call, and thanks for sending me this recommendation. Brian says, "Hey STB, I thought you'd like a couple of videos to learn a little more about Jason Bonham. I go see him and his band, the Led Zeppelin Experience, whenever they come to town. The first video is an interesting look at the members of Led Zeppelin talking about Jason and his ability to play drums. Then there's a look at Jason's time of playing with Led Zeppelin on their first reunion concert. It's pretty interesting. I heard you say when you did the Celebration Day concert that you'd like to see Jason play Moby Dick. Well, the second video does it one better. Jason plays the song and is joined by his dad on the video screen. Very cool. Have a good one. I'll see you on your next reaction. Peace." Right on, man. Thank you. So, let's hit this up, man. So this is, like a little bio information. It's entitled Led Zeppelin Talks About Jason Bonham, 1990 MTV Rockumentary. Right on, man. I love rockumentaries. All right, a Jason Bonham rockumentary. Let's get it.
Jason was, I guess, this really screaming, ugly, irritable little bastard lying in a pram, looking up at his father and unable to speak because he still hadn't found the word for dad, saying I want in his own language, and he's always continued to do that from that day onward.
He had the passion even then.
He's a good lad, and he was a good lad all the way through, but he was always very boisterous and, I guess, not demanding, but if you went around to see his dad, you'd have to see him too.
I think it's one of the main ingredients being a Bonham.
Bonzo had a games room, which you can see in the song Remains the Same, and with a snooker table. And a big jukebox with all music from every era. Jason's kit was set up by the side of it. We used to come back from wherever we'd been together and all sit down and mess around and start dancing about. The jukebox would be real loud, and Jason would get on his little kit, poor little tot, and he'd have to play all this stuff, you know? I mean, he was better than the drummer with Steely Dan, better than the Temptations drummer, better than Bonzo, better than everybody, because he was sober.
And I used to come downstairs and I said, he put the jukebox on and I played some music, you know. But once you go back to bed now. No way, mate. I'll play away. I carry on all night.
You know, he's a good drummer. He always was a good drummer. He was good in those days, but he learned from the records. And he just had that flair to do it. You know, he may not have got all the fills right, but he certainly had the attitude. And you could see that when he was, 4 or 5.
I guess the great thing that John taught him more than anything else was to be sparing in the way that he played. I mean, the fact that Bonzo was and is as yet the greatest exponent of true drumming in the rock and roll idiom. Passing that treaty onto his son was the most important thing, really. To be sparing. Let everybody else go mad.
There was one amusing story, really, where when we were playing Nebworth, which was actually our last British gig. Right. And we were doing a sound check and doing Trampled Underfoot. And we were playing along, concentrating on the guitar, and I looked round and Jason was on the drums.
You're kidding.
Yeah, it was so John could go out the front and listen to his, sound balance.
But then we got the complaints from the police because the drums could be heard, I think it's 7.5 miles away in the next town. And
So
it was
he was
Jason,
a
but you
teen at
couldn't
that
tell.
time?
I mean, Pagey didn't know that it wasn't.
Well, he was playing guitar, was he?
So he didn't know.
Wow.
They just let him play, and Pagey turned around and saw.
I figured he'd notice right away.
He's certainly got the sort of power within his drumming, which is, it's just right for me,
Well, there's certain aspects of his demeanour which are similar. I mean, he's from the same blood, And he plays great. He's improving all the time, which is what I knew he would do.
He's a barroom brawler like his dad.
Obviously,
That's
the
what they're trying to say
influence of
nicely.
my father is there from the one he taught me at a very early age. But I suppose he hasn't been around now for 8 years, so I've seemed to, not progressed in a way, but I've created my own type of style with him. Obviously, he's the backbone to me.
1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. What did it look like?
It was quite weird. Jimmy rang me up and said, "These things, I don't know if it's going to happen, but there could be a Led Zeppelin reunion." And I went, "Oh dear, my dream has come true. I'm going to play drums in Led Zeppelin." Oh no, it's one of those things. It was amazing. And I sat in this is so funny, I sat in my front room, I had a drum store, set my drum kit up in my front room, my little house in England where I live. And I played every Led Zeppelin album and played for 5 to 6 days, playing every album because I wasn't too sure what they were going to do. And I wanted to get up on it.
And here we are. Interview with John Dance. Take 1. I'm really pissed off. Fingers, very sore. Fingers. 2, 2, 1, 2.
We actually had one rehearsal in England, which people probably don't know. I'll say this because it's true. We did have one rehearsal in England, but we did go over about 15 to 20 songs. And we just couldn't decide because Robert hadn't decided on what he wanted to do. So we finally get to New York. We're all jet lagged, and we go down to the studio.
That sticking point is always Robert,
It's
isn't it?
going to be fine. So then the next day we all turn up. We start playing. Robert turns up. It was absolutely amazing.
I know when we were doing the few hours rehearsing for the Atlantic reunion, that's the first time I really ever played with Jason. But he really knows all the stuff very, very well. But we're playing away in some number, and I just naturally, you sort of slot back, things get remembered, and I just went into a very old fill that I used to do or something. And he's right there with me. And it's one of those things that bass players and drummers only do when they've been married for 10 years, right? And we went straight into it. And I just looked round and he went, Chicago, 1975.
Wow. So he checked out all of the bootlegs and all of those very, very remote concerts. He made it his own. He knew this time was coming.
My dreams come true, I mean, my first dream, obviously, was from a very young age to play with Led Zeppelin, and I've done that, and believe you me, that was the most emotional, stressful thing in my life to do. It was just so wonderful to play with Led Zeppelin, to be up there at Madison Square Gardens when the curtain rises, and Jimmy turned to me and went, count it in, and it was like 1, 2, 3, 4, Kashmir, da-da-da, da-da-da.
I've never seen this concert.
To me, Kashmir, it says it all, and to open up with Kashmir at Madison Square Gardens for me was just one, the most amazing time of my life, and two, the most frightening time of my life.
Somebody send me this.
Because my heart was here. I was frightened, but because they'd done it before, you know. They've done it before, they didn't have to prove a thing. But for me to go on there and not play good,
look at that,
you know, it could have been the end of my career, really.
Cigarette in his mouth.
If the truth was to be known, it could have been the end of my career, because everyone had gone, he could never do it. But I went out there and hopefully, from what people told me, and I believe myself, I did it, you know. I proved to the world that I can actually play drums.
They invited you back, man, in 2008. That was just as important a concert as this one. I've got to check that out, man. Oh, that was it? Holy. Okay. Yeah, it was just a short one. 9 minutes and 43 seconds long. Damn. I was getting into that shit, boy. So, that's a look at Jason Bonham, how he was cut from greatness, how he was meant to take up the mantle and complement his father very well, represent very well. Some very important moments too. That one being Madison Square Garden, the Kennedy Center honors that I mentioned, and then the O2 Arena, you know, the tribute to Ahmet Erdogan. Very, very important. All three occasions. I don't know if he was ever involved with Led Zeppelin in any further concerts. I think these three are the only ones that I know of. Correct me if I'm wrong. But I gotta check out that, what is it? Madison Square Gardens one in '88. Damn, man. That looks good. Sounds good. All right. Let's do this, man. Let's do a little read on Jason Bonham, introduce the man, and then we'll check out his drum solo of Moby Dick with his father on the screen. And I think what I'll do here is there's a lot of information here where it comes to basically a read. So I'll kind of split it in half. And yeah, I'll do that. Split it in half and go from there. So, first let's introduce the lad, Jason Bonham. Yeah, man, if ever there was someone who was meant to go in a certain direction, had a certain pedigree, it's this kid. All eyes were upon him, and he didn't disappoint. All right, Jason Bonham. Jason John Bonham, born 15th of July 1966, is an English drummer. He is the son of Led Zeppelin drummer John Bonham. After his father's death in September of 1980, he played with Led Zeppelin on occasions, including the Ahmet Ertegun tribute concert at the O2 Arena in London in 2007. Biography and musical career. Bonham could play drums skillfully at the age of 5 and appeared with his father in the film The Song Remains the Same, drumming on a scaled-down kit. At 15, he joined his first band, AIRRACE, A-I-R-R-A-C-E. In 1985, he joined Virginia Woolf making 2 albums and touring the US supporting the firm. In '88, Bonham joined Led Zeppelin guitarist Jimmy Page for his Outrider album and tour. In May of the same year, Bonham appeared with the 3 surviving members of Led Zeppelin for a performance at Atlantic Records' 40th anniversary concert in New York. Okay, so that's what it was. Yeah, Atlantic's 40th anniversary concert, New York, Madison Square Gardens. Okay. In '89, Bonham appeared as a special guest at the Moscow Music Peace Festival, performing the song Rock and Roll with many major rock stars of the day. That same year, he formed his own band, Bonham, whose Zeppelin inflected. Sorry, let me try reading this again. It's either I'm really drunk already, or this is off. Sorry, let me try this shit again. In '89, Bonham appeared as a special guest at the Moscow Music Peace Festival, performing the song Rock and Roll with many major rock stars of the day. That same year, he formed his own band, Bonham, whose Zeppelin inflected first release, The Disregard of Timekeeping, had a hit single, Wait For You, and the music video for the subsequent single, Guilty, did get some airplay. However, after a lukewarm reception for their 1992 release, Mad Hatter, the band was dissolved and Bonham concentrated on session work and guest appearances. Okay, that sentence at the top of the paragraph there, it didn't have any portions or anything like that, so it was hard to kind of make sense of the read, sorry. On the 28th of April 1990, Bonham married Jan Charteris in Stone, Worcestershire. His wedding reception included a jam with Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Paul Jones. The Bonhams have 2 children, a son named Jagger, and a daughter, Jazz, born in '93. Bonham drummed for Paul Rodgers on the Grammy-nominated Muddy Water Blues, a tribute to Muddy Waters project. A year later, with Slash and Paul Rodgers, he appeared at Woodstock 2 in '94. Bonham reformed his band with a new lead vocalist, Marty Frederisken, replacing Daniel McMaster. Renamed Motherland, the release of the album Peace for Me later in 1984. However, his down-to-earth nature always showed, on one occasion making an encore drumming appearance for local Led Zeppelin tribute bands Fred Zeppelin and Led Zeppelin. I've heard of Led Zeppelin. In '95, Bonham and his sister Zoe represented his father when Led Zeppelin was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Bonham soon put together another solo project that culminated in the Name of the Father, the Zepp Set, which featured the songs of Led Zeppelin. Proceeds from the album went to charity. The album followed up with When You See the Sun. Following an album and tour with his aunt Debbie Bonham, Jason Bonham was invited to drum for hard rock group UFO. In 2006, he recorded with Joe Bonamassa. Jason Bonham also appeared in the movie Rockstar in 2001. Bonham played drummer AC of the fictional band Steel Dragon. The film also featured performances by musicians such as Zakk Wylde, Jeff Pilson, Miles Kennedy, Jeff Scott Soto, Brian Vander Erck, Blas Elias, Nick Catanese, and Ralph Michael Sands of Steel Panther fame. He also played on the film's soundtrack. Bonham starred with Ted Nugent, Evan Seinfeld, Biohazard, Sebastian Bach of Skid Row, and Scott Ian of Anthrax on the VH1 reality TV show Supergroup in May of 2006. The musicians formed a band called Damocracy after ditching the names Fist, God War, and Savage Animal for the show, during which they lived in a mansion in LA for 12 days and created music. Jason also played drums live with Foreigner from 2004 to 2007 and part of 2007 to 2008. I knew that. I heard about that he had played with Foreigner. I didn't know for how long or if it was just one engagement. Bonham joined the group Black Country Communion late in 2009 and stayed with them until they broke up in March of 2013. He joined the group when they reformed in 2016. He's been quite busy, hasn't he? Participation in Led Zeppelin reunions. Yeah, let's stop there. We'll take it up from there when we come back. There's a lot of details about his life and everything like that, so we'll take that up when we come back. All right, so let's check out this performance, man. And I believe it's Moby Dick with Jason playing alongside his dad on the screen. That'll be really interesting. All right, Jason Bonham tribute. John Bonham tribute by Jason Bonham at Guitar Center's 21st annual Drum Off in 2009. Let's get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jason Bonham.
Thunderous signature. It's an absolute must. Henry Bonham, 48 to 1980. Excellent. Great tribute to his father, showing his appreciation not only for being the son of a great man, but representing a great icon of rock and roll. Fantastic, man. Hey, you know what I was thinking along the way of the drum solo? I often mention this in Led Zeppelin concerts when John comes on and he does his solos. I always have this visual of him getting up in the morning, early in the morning, going to the garage or going into his music studio or wherever his drum kit is, and just banging out a couple of drum solos for a few hours. You know, that's his daily routine. I bet you it's the exact same thing for his son. Not only working on his stuff, but all of the Led Zeppelin stuff that came before. I imagine that's probably his daily routine, I bet you. All right, yeah, so let's just do a little bit more. I won't be able to read all of this. This is a long-ass bio of information here about Jason. But yeah, I'll read up right up until to the parts where they're now talking about all of his drum kits and stuff like that. I'll save that for you if you're a crazy inclined musician. I'll let you read shit like that. I'm thinking of you, Amy Brooks. All right. Participation in Led Zeppelin reunions. On the 14th of May in '88, the Atlantic Records label held its 40th anniversary celebration by staging a non-stop concert lasting almost 13 hours. A reformed Led Zeppelin with Jason on drums closed the event. On Saturday, the 28th of April in 1990, Jason Bonham married Jan Curteris. Later, during the wedding reception at the hotel in Bodley, England, Jimmy Page, Robert Plant, and John Paul Jones joined Jason on stage and performed Custard Pie, It'll Be, Rock and Roll, Sick Again, Bring It On Home for the wedding party. Nice, man. It's too bad we don't have footage of that. That would have been awesome. On the 12th of September in 2007, it was announced that Jason Bonham would step into his father's shoes and play drums for a Led Zeppelin reunion concert. This took place on the 10th of December 2007 at London's O2 Arena as part of an all-star tribute to Ahmet Ertegun. His performance was described as flawless by music critics. Nice. So, let me ask you a question, man. In regards to Jason Bonham being the fourth member of Led Zeppelin, which performance were you most excited for when you heard about Led Zeppelin's reforming? Was it the 1988 performance, the 40th anniversary of Atlantic Records, or was it the O2 Arena? I'm not asking which performance you think was better. I'm asking which performance were you most excited for? Let me know. Take me back into your mind, into your emotions. Let me know which particular one you were really, really the most excited about and why. Articulate it for me, will you? Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening and Other Experiences. In February of 2009, Jason Bonham and James Dillon began working together in what would become Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening, a live homage to his father's band. In autumn of 2010, Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening embarked on their first North American tour and toured worldwide during 2011. Yeah, it's impressive. This kid was busy from the time he was, I'm guessing, in his teens. That's when he really, really got busy and turned it up. Bonham more recently played drums along with sisters Ann and Nancy Wilson of the group Heart on vocals and guitar respectively, with successive additions of band, string, and horn sections and choirs, including the Joyce Garrett Youth Choir, for a show ending a performance of Stairway to Heaven during the Led Zeppelin tribute at the Kennedy Center Honors, hosted by Barack Obama in December of 2012, while clearly emotional band members Robert Plant, Jimmy Page, and John Paul Jones looked on. It was described as a bring down the house version. Isn't that when Jack Black was introducing them? I believe it was. and the dude was wearing a beautiful tux with green socks. That image is burned in my damn head. I cannot ever shake that off. But he did a good job. I remember him talking about Vikings and Vikings having sex and stuff like that. In the summer of 2013, Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening joined forces with the band Heart for the Heartbreaker Tour, celebrating the music of Led Zeppelin. Later that year, he teamed up again with Glenn Hughes to form a new rock band, which became California Breed, adding the guitarist Andrew Watt. Oh, I got another question. Someone was saying it to me, I believe, that at some point in time, it's Ann Wilson. Yeah, Ann Wilson had approached, was it Robert Plant? Or was it while they were in Zeppelin? I think it might have been post-Zeppelin, approached Robert Plant to do work together. And I think he passed on it. Can you tell me why he would pass on it? I know it's about styles, just like the saying goes, styles make fights. The same goes for, I think, styles really determine how good a union would be and things of that sort. So I'm sure he had his personal reasons why. But is there any documentation outlining why he didn't get together with Ann Wilson? Because I don't know, in my mind's eye, I'm seeing that would have been a really great collaboration. And maybe it's because I'm biased because I consider her one of the best female singers anywhere across the board, not just in rock, but all across. I just love that lady singing, man. So let me know about that if you know any information. Later that year, he teamed up with Glenn Hughes to form a new rock band, which became California Breed, adding the guitarist Andrew Watt. In 2014, Bonham joined Sammy Hagar's super group, Sammy Hagar and the Circle. The band featured Led Zeppelin tracks along with songs from Hagar's various career projects such as Montrose, Van Halen, and Chickenfoot. From early March to late 2015, Jason Bonham's Led Zeppelin Evening toured extensively in North America. On the 4th of December in 2015, the band kicked off their North American tour in San Jose. In early May 2016, they embarked on a 1-month, 22-date North American tour. Okay, yeah, let's stop there, y'all, because now we're getting into his equipment and his drum kit and his sticks and his cymbals and a whole shit ton of breakdown. Yeah, so I'll just leave it for music heads to read that on their own time. It's quite extensive though. So yeah, man, that concludes my look at Jason Bonham, a great musician and a music personality in his own right. And he's been busy. You know, it seems to me like from the time he was a teen and he was kind of ghosting Led Zeppelin's auditions, and he, that story about John going out to do a sound check and he taking John's place and Jimmy not even realizing the difference between the two men. That was really cool. I think from there he was really busy. So it seems like he's been always doing something from his team, and he knew that he was going to be a drummer for life. That's really, really awesome. So it's good to know that. It's good to know that much more about him. So Brian, thank you very much for sharing these links with us, man. So another thing that I got coming up, where I'm just going down to my notes here. Another thing that I got coming up in regards to the Led Zeppelin factor, as I call it, for the channel, is at some point I'm going to get to the Jimmy Page and Black Crowes concert, and that's another link provided by Brian. So that'll be in a little bit, probably in another 2 weeks, I'm guessing. So that is what I'm going to be doing, and there's also stuff that I want to do in regards to Led Zeppelin, some more documentaries, if there are any, and more interviews and things of that sort. Someone mentioned to me that he was doing some sort of a career interview at, was it Oxford? And it was really nice because the faculty were there and they were all in the same level, and there was no big stage presentation or anything. It's just a nice man talking back and forth with not only with the host but also with the faculty. I'm visualizing inside the actor's studio. You know what I'm talking about? So I would really like to check that out. Now, someone mentioned it, but I didn't see a link. So I suppose I can start looking around for it. But that stuff like that is what I want to do, where Led Zeppelin is concerned. And then, of course, there's their individual stuff, individual performances, their individual careers and things like that. So it's a little bit of here and there where it comes to the Led Zeppelin factor. Now that I'm past their studio album reactions and, of course, their individual song reactions and things of that sort, it's more things on the periphery and doing the odd live performances and stuff like that. So there's starting to become an overlap. Like some people would say, hey, check this out, you know, and then I'd realize, oh yeah, I did actually do a reaction to it. This was in Jeffrey Davis's quad, you know, this was last year, and check it out. You got to go look at my Vimeo. So there's starting to become a little bit of overlap. I don't think that the road of Led Zeppelin will I'll ever come to the end of it, but I'm really now at the point where I'm getting more into their lore on the outside of the actual Led Zeppelin performances and things like that. So that's where I'm at, where the Led Zeppelin factor is concerned. Now, what I got going on here, yeah, I mentioned I want to do Page and the Black Rose. I got reactions loaded in the chute. I'm really interested in this reaction. Finesse sent me, and again, it's associated with Led Zeppelin on the periphery, if you want to call it that. When Jimmy Page was looking for a lead singer for his Yardbirds project, he approached a singer named Terry Reid, and he wasn't available, so he recommended Robert Plant, and then the rest was history. But I want to check this out. So Finesse sent me a couple of links, so that'll be coming up shortly, and I want to look into stuff like that. So like I said, that's an example of stuff on the periphery. I got reactions I got to get to for Akachita, Jeff, Don, Freddie, a couple of new patrons, so I'm going to be busy in the next week or so. And that, my friends, concludes our look at the great Jason Bonham. Great in his own right. Doesn't need the shadow of his father whatsoever. He is an icon all on his own. All right, y'all. So, thanks for joining me. Hope you enjoyed this, man. It's a little outside of the norm of just your typical song reactions, but I like to mix things up. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to mix things up too much because I got my ass in trouble. I don't know if you know this, but I suffered a copyright strike on a rockumentary that I did last week, 20 Feet from Stardom. So it was, I think, due in part to it not being a YouTube link. Nothing guaranteed with YouTube links, but it will keep me somewhat in a safe funnel. So going forward, I've really got to taper down what I react to. So over the next little while, I got to basically stay within the lines. Over the last, since I started my channel up till now, that's 2 copyright strikes. One more and this channel is gone, right? So I've got to watch myself. Okay, y'all. So that concludes our look at Jason Bonham. Thanks for joining me. Brian, thank you for the links. Take care, everyone. And I'll see you next time I see you. It's going to be Finesse's reaction. So that'll probably be up tomorrow. So see you tomorrow. Peace.